Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to each one of you from the KnowledgeHut team. Um, we are really glad to have you here with us today. Before we proceed, I'd like to share a few announcements with the audience. After the session begins, all the attendees will be on a listen-only mode for a while to maintain the flow of the webinar. And our presenter will address any questions or queries during the Q&A time. That will be towards the end of the session. Also, um, while the session is on, if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts or any doubts, please feel free to post them in the chat section, which will be on the right hand side corner, and we will make sure to address each of them during the Q&A time. Plus, a recorded version of the webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel. So I request you to kindly subscribe to our YouTube page and also follow the KnowledgeHut website for more updates. Now, before we jump in, I would quickly like to introduce our speaker for today, who is Ms. Geethalakshmi. She is a diversified leader with 12 years of rich experience and is known for maintaining a track record of successfully improving the growth of many companies in life sciences and pharmaceutical industry. Her areas of specialization are client management, product management, business development, project management, and stakeholder management. And in order to give you more insights on Geeta's expertise, I would like to hand the session over to her.
Thank you, Sushil, for the introduction. And dear participants, I would like to thank first of all for you allocating your valuable time in attending this seminar. I hope you will take away some valid points about this topic. And today I would like to talk about Scrum in education. So you all will be knowing about what is Scrum framework, and how it is being implemented in education. Is a very, very interesting topic actually. So I would like to start with the flow, like a few points about Scrum basics, and I would like to explain the need of the utilization of the Scrum in education, and how they are doing it, what is in it, and also I would like to share some results of the implementation of the Scrum framework in education in schools and colleges. And obviously there will be like little difference between the industry Scrum right now being in current practice and also the Scrum that is being in education. So let's go into the topic. Okay, so in this slide you will see pictures of a school and a rugby. Yeah, Scrum was originally the word has derived from scrummage, a term which is being used in the sports such as rugby in 1905. It is basically the players come together if their heads down. Basically, their target is to hold the ball, to hold the ball, and with their heads down. Whereas Scrum is officially implemented in 1993 by Jeff Sutherland and others. Since then, it was being predominantly used in software industry. The only difference between the sports-based Scrum and the Scrum that is used in industry is that in sports, there is a competition existing between two different teams who is holding the ball. Whereas in industry, the Scrum, there is no competition as such. Instead, it is very collaborative, and they all work together to ensure that the work gets done. So this I already told what we are going to see in this webinar. So a Scrum is a framework. Actually, it is not a methodology. It is a framework that is used in project management. We can define it as very lightweight. Yes, the theory is very, very easy, but difficult to master it. And also it's agile, and it has a framework of having like defined framework. It has, we call it as Scrum pillars, like transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And also it was founded on two values like empiricism and lean thinking. Empiricism is nothing but through experience we learn things and we decide based on the past experiences. And lean thinking, as you know, it is like reducing the wastages. And Scrum values, these are all these values will help to achieve the target faster using the Scrum framework, like commitment, openness, respect, courage, etc. Okay. In this slide, you can see Scrum. Most of you will be knowing that Scrum is used predominantly in IT industry, but surprisingly, it is not true. It is used in finance, healthcare, construction industry, of course, education and telecommunication, government, insurance, and others. Like the right side, you can see the major companies that played a successful track record using the implementation of Scrum framework in their work. Now, I'm just telling Scrum being used in education, but you'll be having a question. Scrum is used in IT. How it will be used in education? What is the role of Scrum? So let's see one by one why the need arose. For example, let us see from three different perspectives: students' perspective, and the potential employer perspective, and school perspective. This slide shows in the left hand side, you can see the positive points of current students. At the right side, you can see the negative one, or in terms of deficiencies. E&Y research found out that there is a group of people who are born between 1995 to 2010. They are called Gen Z people. Most of them would be in colleges or universities right now. The research found out that they have a very higher level of knowledge in terms of like academic knowledge or subject matter expertise, and also they know how to use the information and communication technologies very well, and they are very good in implementing the soft skills. Like for example, like communication, creation of contacts, exchange of information and skills. They are completely ready in terms of soft skill. But in the right hand side, you can see the analytical skills are low, systemized or organizing skills also low. And also they are not able to use the information available and not able to evaluate their stance. So these are all the negative points. And so this is the current scenario of the students who are experiencing the traditional method of education. Now come to employer expectations. Many of you would be knowing that like whatever degree or graduate we achieve in our college or universities, they are not directly being implemented in any job. Maybe 10% or 20% technical skills only will be utilized later, but 80% of the skills that are required by an employer is not exactly the subject matter expertise. Instead, they are divided into two broad categories. You can see yellow color as competencies and blue color character qualities. Competencies in terms of like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, and elaboration. Whereas character qualities like adaptability, leadership, social and cultural awareness, persistence and grit, curiosity and initiative. These skills forms a major skill gap in 21st century. So this is a major concern for the current generation. And next one comes to schools. Of course, schools also will have certain problems like they are invested in certain processes and tools. I mean to say that they follow a definite protocol. They are not flexible for changing. And here, human needs are not at all prioritized because human needs keeps on changing, evolution that is not being addressed. And also like the educators also concentrating on the teaching techniques, curriculum materials and test scores only. They don't think whether the student is really learning, is he or she learning with the value is not being taught. And also like school interactions, probably like this can be explored as the school interaction between principal or headmaster or teachers. They're all being done through negotiations. It's not healthy, right? But instead they should go for a collaborative mode. So this is a very big concern because if one person in the group is not accepting, maybe a good initiative may fail, or one person may accept to avoid conflict, a major decision taken by the management. Ultimately, everyone will fail. So it should be the discussion should be a collaborative rather than negotiation. And yeah, school culture also is highly resistant to change in terms of like test method or learning methods, etc. So these are all the problems, major problems. So next, let's see how Scrum will be able to help these three scenarios. So ultimately, the desired learning style is like students have to learn the traditional academic learning and also emotional learning, social learning. All this together, learning will give a very high profile graduates or students. So that will be really favorable for the future employers. So let us see what is this Scrum framework in school, what is this values or principle, and what are all the steps, how they do in the upcoming slides. So here I would like to say that hope you are already know about the Agile Manifesto in education. So here we can see two information. Right side is called as Agile Campus in Education, and the left side is Agile Manifesto in Education. Basically, it is a slight modification from the software manifesto, Agile Manifesto. Point 1 and 4 did not change much. Only the point 2 and the point 3 changed a little bit, because here working software is converted to working project, that is a learning project. And here, instead of business people and product stakeholders, it is converted to student or instructor or any families. So these two changes, this means that the entire framework is not at all changed much, but with a slighter modification, this Agile Manifesto can be implemented in education. And this was presented by Stewart et al. In 2009. And also like Mr. Peha also like listed this in his research methodology. And in the right side, you can see a compass, which is having 4 different directions, 4 different values. And this compass was created by Agile educators in 2016. So let us see what it explains. So you can see prescriptive to iterative. Prescriptive is nothing but the teachers say what to do, students what to do. But iterative is they think by themselves and they start giving in increments in terms of like small deliverables happens in this Agile education. And also normally students will compete with others to get higher scores or marks, etc. But here Agile education or Scrum education focuses on the collaboration instead of competition. Is very healthy, right? And also like content instead of culture. Culture, if you say, you can ask what culture here, because content, many of us in our schools or colleges, we just memorized the content and wrote the exams and would have got 100% also. But we never thought of why this topic, how it is going to be useful in practical. But in Scrum education, this the shift from content to culture says that why we are learning this topic, how we are going to do this. So, and also control. In a conventional traditional education method, the professors or the teachers, school teachers will control the students. Whereas in this Agile or Scrum mode, it's basically the trust between the school students and between the teacher and the students. And also like last one is evaluation, like how the school teacher evaluates the exam papers. So here in this Scrum education, they often get a feedback that is visible from others, peers and teachers, and they self-reflect. How did I perform? What wrong did I make this? So it is not only evaluation, but it's shifted to visible feedback and reflection. So this is a very big slide. Sorry to put too many words in this. I can't help it because this is like a formula, mathematics formula. It's like Bible. So these 12 principles are the basis of Agile or Scrum in industrial practice. The right side is mentioning about the Agile principles in education. So basically the content is same, but only the terminologies are different. And for example, here you can see customer, instead you can see children and their families here. And also here it is delivery of valuable software, here it is meaningful learning. And it's basically the learning cycle, children and their families, school and family team members. So those are all the changes. Otherwise, exactly the Agile Manifesto in education is exactly a replica of industrial practice or IT or a software agile principles. So we mean to say that using these principles, when we adapt, it will aid the children or the students to meet their learning objectives very easily, and also not only easily, very efficiently. So okay, yeah, this slide is a very colorful slide. I mean, this one slide represents many agile or Scrum schools throughout the world. I could say that Scrum is the one which started in 2015, I think, with by Arno and Willy. This is a very big institution that is implementing Scrum in their education. Not only Scrum, Agile classrooms, Agora environment, Agile learning centers, Blueprint education. And in the right side, you can see the font in blue color representing the founders or the directors, or I mean the top brass people who are the causative, or their efforts resulted in this Scrum, Agile classrooms, etc. And these people, these members, were the one who created the Agile compass, which we discussed a little bit earlier. So these people, they only framed that compass actually. This is just a representation of a global view, like where and all this Scrum in education. You would be surprising, is it really Scrum is used in education? Is it really? Which country is using? I don't think many countries. It's not correct. Many developed countries had started adapting Scrum in education, like Canada, US, Mexico, Spain, UK, Netherlands, of course, India also. Many of the schools in India using this Scrum, and Australia. So now everyone will be keen. Okay, I know how Scrum works in IT industry, but I would like to know, I'm very keen to know how Scrum is helping the educational institution. So I have, from my knowledge, what I have gathered in the research papers and all, I have made this figure, a framework that is used in education. It starts with the teacher or the product owner. I will be discussing in detail a little bit later. So he or she will set a learning objective for that particular unit or particular semester or a particular term. So they set a learning objective, and one interesting thing is team forming. This you will not have seen in traditional Scrum that is used in IT industry. I will tell you the reason later. Team forming is an essential step in a Scrum in education. Later, they break down this learning objective into small chunks called learning backlog. I have given an example in the next slide. It will be helpful to you visualize. And once learning backlog, it is nothing but a product backlog that is used in Scrum in IT industry. So after making this learning backlog, the students' work starts here, sprint planning, and they arrive at sprint backlog, and then the sprint starts. Typically, the sprint, it will duration is like 1 week to 4 weeks. And of course, here daily Scrum happens. Here you can see a little, a small picture that is nothing but the Scrum in rugby. The Scrum in rugby is happening as daily Scrum in our companies or education. Here, in the rugby, they are the sports people, but here in our education framework, it's a student, sometimes the teachers also join this daily meeting to discuss about what happened yesterday, what did you learn yesterday, what you're going to learn today, and any problem you face. Basically, the context is same, only the terminologies may be different. And so as a sprint, the result of a sprint is the increment is nothing but successful learning of, for example, say English language. So that becomes an increment. And here one interesting thing is what addressed by Mr. Jeff Sutherland is, it's not definition of done as mentioned in the traditional Scrum practiced in IT industry practice, but instead it is definition of fun, because students enjoy doing this. So it is not DOD, but it is DOF, and followed by sprint review. This is very important. And in the traditional IT companies, the sprint is review is like displaying the work done by the developers to the stakeholders and management. Yeah, but here it is, and in the IT industry, it is the group represents the increment is represented by the entire Scrum team. But whereas only one difference is, in addition, not only the team review, but it is also review of the individual student. Of course, individual student has to score the marks to go to the next class or next semester. So there are two types of review happening. One is individual student review, and the second is student team review. Of course, followed by sprint retrospective. Sprint retrospective is nothing to do with the scores, but it is the basis for the future adaptation. Adaptation is one of the essence of the Scrum. Without adaptation, nothing will improve. So what mistake we have done, what good things we have done, how I should do the next learning. So all those ideas will come. Here the teacher will join, the students will join, and it is also similar team reflection and personal reflection. So this is a very brief about the Scrum framework that is being used in education. So I would like to brief a few points about product owner. Here the product owner is no one except, is a teacher. So who has the subject expertise and other teaching skills, and he or she sets the learning objective or the projects. So basic qualities of the product owner who is a teacher is the teacher should be familiar with Scrum methodology or Scrum, how it is being implemented in the classrooms, how they are going to do each and every day, and also they should be here the didactical expertise and pedagogical expertise plays a major role in the Scrum adaptation by the students. Didactical expertise is nothing but generally it comprises of why you have to learn this topic and how you are going to do this. This is general, not only Scrum, in any subjects. Didactical expertise is required for a teacher to shine and to cause a positive change in the student life. And second thing, not only here describing why and how, but he or she has to do the preparation work. For example, Scrum, daily Scrum board, and how the structure of the sprint review and sprint retrospective, all this preparation work the teacher has to do it. Of course, it is time consuming, and yeah, but it is really worth doing this. And pedagogical expertise is nothing but it is like the social skills, how the teacher could connect to the students, take their feedback, and concerns very seriously. So these two expertise help to implement the Scrum framework in education. And it is very interesting and surprising to know that the subject matter expertise does not have any importance in this context, Scrum in education, because it is not required. These two plays a major role. And also they have to fine tune the Scrum approach to the specific needs of the students. You know, each and every student are unique, skill wise, behavior wise, knowledge wise. So it has to be customized to the student needs. And also as a teacher, they determine what to learn and why to learn. Also they monitor and improve the quality of the academic learning outcomes during a daily Scrum or sprint review, etc. And next comes Scrum Master. Who is a Scrum Master here? In a typical classroom, only a teacher will be there and student will be there. Who is going to be a Scrum Master? So ideally, the Scrum Master ideally should be a teacher, but in some cases, the teacher appoints a student whom can be called as team captain or Edu Scrum Master. And I would like to say the entire content of this slide is derived from Edu Scrum website. It's a major leading institution that is implementing Scrum in schools. So they call it as Edu Scrum Master or the team captain, who is nothing but a student, not the student. So, but in Edu Scrum, the team captain, the role is very limited. It is not like a Scrum Master in software industry. It's very limited because there is one more Scrum Master, that is that another teacher would be the he is the main Scrum Master. The student will be the team captain or the Edu Scrum Master. And the role of the team captain is fulfilled during the team formation. As I told, the team formation is one of the event or ceremony that is happening in the Scrum Education. I will explain to you later. So they play a major role in the team formation based on the multi-tasking or multi-knowledge or the capability of the individual team member student. The team captain forms teams actually. And the team captain is designated either by the teacher or chosen by students. Scrum team remains the same. It's a bunch of students, cluster of students. They are self-organizing. They are multidisciplinary. Ideally, it consists of like 4 to 6 students. And you should remember that among the 6 students, strong performer will be there. A least performing student also will be there. Okay. So just for the discussion, during this webinar discussion, I have taken one topic and I would like to split and show how the backlog items are derived. This is just for the backlog items and not for the entire events and accountabilities. So here, one example of a learning objective is to learn English. So this is similar to product goal. The to learn English is similar to product goal, and learning backlog is similar to product backlog items. So to master any foreign language, we need to choose a technology, language learning technology. That would be the first and foremost backlog item. And then if required, we can enroll in some online courses. And also how much ever you learn in an online course, is better to have a conversation partner. Like that, we can keep on building the learning backlog items. Yeah. Next slide we'll see. I have chosen one backlog item, choose language learning technology, and I have arrived at sprint backlog. Like we have to choose which software and we have to tailor to the primary language. For example, according to my mother tongue is, for example, Tamil. So that software should have a tailor to adapt to Tamil language so that my learning will be easy. And also whether it is going to be user-led videos or on-the-go practice in an Android. And what is the duration of the learning, cost of the software. So like that, the backlog would be found here in learning also. Okay, now let us see the process. How what are all the process that has been followed? What are the challenges faced by the Scrum team in education? What is the success? So everything we are going to see in detail now. So as you know, our people are not that students very young, or no, they're very young, so they are not good in changing their learning method to a new one. So initially fear and stress was more in the beginning. Of course, the starting point was not at all pleasant, and of course the teacher has high demand because teacher has to learn the framework and teacher later has to explain the framework, so it's put high demand on the teacher. So it becomes very complex in the learning environment in the initial time. But it is a slowly adaptive process. It's one of the definition of the Scrum. It's an adaptive one. And with practice, the dynamics slowly become good. And a very important condition to implement Scrum successfully in education is classroom climate should be consistent manner. There should not be any fluctuating factors. And let's see the results. It's very interesting. Results are very interesting. So then, okay, here I'm going to talk what benefits students have gained, how it impacts the student lives. So there is a control group and the Scrum group. The Scrum group got higher scores in 1.25% more than the control group. And also the number of failures is reduced. It's very interesting, right? And students were cooperating with others and were able to take the responsibility. It's self-organizing team, right? So they were able to take the responsibility. And 40% students are confident. Confidence is very, very important in student life, because if the student is not confident, it will impact every aspect of the education. And a very interesting thing is, many of the students will be very shy and reserved, and low profile students also. But the Scrum in education provided an equal opportunity for those kind of students also. their profile would be very low, they are very quiet, they don't talk much. So the teacher in the traditional methodology will not even know that kind of student exists in the classroom. The teachers, they want to finish the curriculum fastly, they concentrate on the high profile student, but the low profile student would be ignored normally. But here in Scrum, it happens in small teams, right? So if any one low profile student happens to join the team, because of the team environment, the other team members are supporting collaboration, so they hard work and they tend to flourish more. So this is very remarkable benefit of using Scrum framework in education. And also, like, they feel very ease at class, they have fun. 28% like to go more students, 28% more students go to school every day. It's very interesting, right? And yeah, and also, like, the very important thing is learning progress is more visible here because they have a Scrum board in front of them during daily Scrum. So they discuss in the Scrum board what happened, what is going to happen. So everyone knows it's visible, and transparency is here. Transparency is here so that the growth or the progress of the team is visible clearly to the teacher, Scrum Master, and other students also. So it's like mutual motivating others. And also the teachers say that they could see a relaxed environment of the class atmosphere, and also this offers a possibility of having a different additional skill set for the teachers. So their career also will flourish because they are equipped with an additional skill of learning Scrum. So these are the benefits from students' perspective. Let's see from employment's perspective, which is very interesting. Okay, so what I've done is I have explained this in the previous slides. Actually, what I did is I have plotted the Scrum values with this required skills. So I could see, so these are all the skill set that is required in the current generation, and these are all the Scrum values which is able to deliver the skills actually. For example, openness means open to the new method or new topic. So it's creativity. So when the team is displaying the openness, that means creativity is achieved. And courage is one of the Scrum values. It is to even though the students fail also, they persist and they have that grit to perform continuously. So it shows the courage and respect, empathy towards others, and tolerance towards other students. So these are all like increasing the social and cultural awareness. And focus, yeah, they are having enough time to focus on the self growth as well as the other peers. So these Scrum values, if adapted or followed correctly, this will result in success very easily and faster. So the current gap is fulfilled by adapting the Scrum values in everyday learning. That is what I try to explain in this slide. And of course, the final one is schools. So actually, if you see the schools, the current school structure, there is a minor deficiency that the school teachers will keep the test like 3 months once or 6 months. Probably it is like a 3 months once actually term test. When I was studying, it is like 3rd month and the 6th month and the 12th month, 10th month. That's how we had the test. So don't we think that the gap is too long? Because teacher will not be able to find out how Geeta studied, what is the deficiency, what is the positive, what is the negative. But Scrum in education, needless to say, they work in sprints actually, short duration, like 1 week to 4 weeks. So within 1 week, the teacher will be able to find the progress of Geeta, or anyone, the progress of the student. So the coming week, the teacher will think how to fix the problem. In the retrospective session, they will find out what are all additional efforts that Geeta has to put in order to score more. So within 1 week, the progress report is ready for Geeta. Instead of having the progress report at the end of the month or end of 3 months. So sprint solving this problem. So students will not fall through the cracks. And also, like, teachers also think that yearly once only exam we have to keep, 6 months once only we have to keep the exam. That is also ill-conceived units. They are testing frequently. Working, learning method allows them, when they apply Scrum in their education, it allows the teachers to evaluate the students from time to time. And also during stand-up meetings, every student takes the personal accountability about the progress made and the impediments and team communication. So they communicate together. And as of course, the Scrum Master remove the impediments. For example, one student will not have the learning material that is required. So the Scrum Master will help in getting the learning materials through teacher or the management. So within 1 week, the problem is solved. Otherwise, the problem may persist for 2 to 3 weeks if the student is especially shy or underprivileged. That learning material will not be available for the student. After one test only, that result will be known by the teacher. So everything is very fast here. And also they take their ownership. And they determine their roles also. And one of the marked benefit is that the teachers in the upper grades are enjoying the benefit of the students who learned apply the Scrum in their earlier classes, like in the junior high school classes. Students, when they graduate to high school, the teachers of the high school will experience the benefit because the students already adapted to the Scrum. So it is more easy when they go higher classes. And here comes the list of publications. Like it started from 2009 of using Scrum in education. It is continuously evolving. Like it is used in chemistry teaching and software engineering teaching and mechatronics and then secondary chemistry education or software development teaching for K-12. And sometimes the students learn this Scrum by having Lego bricks game, etc. So there are so many literature and publications available in the website. It's not a new topic. And finally, I would like to say the difference between practice and education. Most of the points I have already included in the previous slides. Here in the industrial practice, that is software industry, every member has the necessary knowledge in terms of developers. They have the necessary knowledge, but whereas in education, students in coming days, they're going to acquire knowledge and skills. So that is a major difference. And here in software industry, the entire team is evaluated, but here the individual and the team is also being evaluated continuously. And one extra ceremony creating teams also is there in Scrum in education concept. And one more interesting thing is in industrial practice, for example, any sprint backlog that is not able to deliver for whatever XYZ reasons, that can be moved to the product backlog and then it can come up again. But in Scrum in education, it is not possible because end of the semester we have to clear all the subjects. Then only the student can move to the next semester. So it is not possible to adjust the education part of the semester, like scope or content cannot be adjusted like in industry. And in companies, the Scrum developers work together in a productive, enjoyable way. But here, every member is not same. So, so it is hard. Not every member of the group works as hard as other members. So it fluctuates between every member. And also, it is not only well organized, but it is very efficient.
Hi, Geeta.
Hi. Yeah.
Yes. How are you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
I have a doubt, Geeta.
Yeah.
Should we have only one Scrum Master or we can have more than one Scrum Master in a classroom?
For a team, okay, thank you for your question. For a single Scrum team, single Scrum Master. Multiple Scrum Masters are not allowed as per the Scrum framework.
Thank you, Geeta. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So any questions on the topics or?
Anyone else from the audience? Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, is that possible to have a copy of the presentation you have today? I think it's pretty enlightening that you can use as a reference.
Yes, certainly, Thomas. So
sure,
after this, there will be a copy of the presentation that will be available on our YouTube channel, right? Which will be uploaded in the coming days. So you can log into YouTube, type KnowledgeHut, and under the videos section, you will certainly see this session as well. Over to you.
Last I want to ask is this only apply for the junior education? Is there any experience they can apply for school or university level?
Thomas, it is, as I explained in the previous slides, it is not only implemented in schools, but also many colleges around the globe. They are started implementing already and they started seeing the good results.
Okay. I see, thanks.
For example, learning chemistry, learning English, or learning software technology. So they already started implementing. Any other questions or any, not only questions, you can share your feedback also, like the topic, about the topic. If you have any views or any opinion, you can share here. That would really help us.
Hi, Aishwarya, you raised your hand. Could you just unmute yourself and ask the question if you have one?
Yeah, Geeta, thank you so much for this valuable session. It was really informative, actually. I'm also a trainer, but I am into SAFE, okay, Scale Agile Framework. But I never thought that we can implement Scrum in education, or I know that can be implemented, but I didn't know that so many of the organizations, schools, or the universities has been implementing SAFE. Thank you so much for this. I'll be happy if you could share this PPT.
Sure, Aishwarya, I'm glad to share it. It's very interesting. Scrum in education is very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, then Geeta, I'll hand it back over to you. If you have anything more to share from your end, please feel free. If not, then in a couple of more seconds, I believe we'll reach the end of our session and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah?
Yeah, okay, thanks, Sushil. I just want to mention that Scrum is like the limit is the sky. It's not only restricted to software or other industries, finance industries. I'm basically from a medical background and I currently work in pharmaceutical domain. Everywhere Scrum can be implemented. I have been implemented for around like 4 to 5 years. So after implementing the Scrum in my daily work, I could realize that my potential, I could realize my true potential, and I never miss my deadlines, or a healthy environment exists between me and my team members. And also everything is transparent and visible in my team. Everyone knows what other people are doing and how they're progressing, what is the impediment. And every morning at 9:05, I have the daily Scrum for almost 10 minutes. If it is going to end before that, I just close the daily Scrum. So we sit and discuss about a review and retrospective. So it increased my personally, it increased my productivity in my office. So I'm now going to implement the Scrum in my learning. I have few learning backlogs. So I'm thinking of implementing the Scrum in my learning backlogs. Yeah, this is about my interest and passion about the Scrum. I wish the participants could be benefited by. Try and see. You will understand the difference. Thank you very much, Sushil. That's all from my side.
All right, Geeta. Well, thank you so much, Geeta, for such an informative session. And I hope that it has most certainly helped our audience in one way or another. Also would like to just inform our audience that we will be coming up with more sessions with Geeta in the coming weeks/months. And these events are displayed on the KnowledgeHut website under the webinar section. So I would encourage you to kindly check out the KnowledgeHut webpage for more interesting session on Scrum. And if you have any questions for us, you could reach out to us directly. You could reach out to Geeta as well. I hope that's okay. That's right. Yes, Geeta?
Yes, Sushil. Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes, Sushil. So, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Great, excellent. So once again, a big heartfelt thank you to each one of you, and we really hope to see you for the next session. So I hope you guys have a good evening or a good morning and a good day wherever you've logged in from, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you all, and thank you, Sushil, for organizing.